Hi everyone, it's 6:30, so we are going to get started. Yay!
Hello.
My first question is, how's everyone's MAGFest so far? Good? Good.
Good
Yay.
to hear,
We're
good
having
to
good
hear.
times? Okay, good. I like to hear that. This is my second MAGFest. I came here in 2020, left for 4 years, and now I'm back. It's really good to be back. It's really good to be presenting again. My name is Sylph, or Courtney. Sylph is my pseudonym. Courtney is my real name. In real life, where the horrors are, I'm an art teacher. So this is my usual thing where I talk to people, but you guys will care, unlike my students. So it's a win.
My name is Nebbles, which is my alias. My real name is Abby, and I don't do anything related to this in real life. I do my little fun 9-to-5 office job where I can pretend I'm normal, and then I go home and I get to be the little goblin I am, especially when it concerns video games. And this is also my first MAGFest, my first time paneling at all. Thank you. And I couldn't pick a better topic to talk about, quite honestly, than the influence Team Asano games have had on me.
Has anyone heard of the Team Asano before? Excellent.
All right,
I enjoy that. So I guess we'll get right into it.
Yeah.
So Tomoya Asano, he is the one who is behind all of these recent RPGs that have come out, starting. I have notes on that for Bravely Default 1L Stars, but they began his own team. He joined in 2001, so he's been there for a minute.
Just a few.
He's produced a few titles in the Final Fantasy series up until Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light, which, fun fact, I found at the dealer's room for, money. So if you have money and you want a game with had Tomoyo Asano on it, you know where to get it. So after that, he went on to create a spiritual successor that we know as Bravely Default, which, who's played Bravely Default before?
Oh, wow, all right.
Ooh, I love that. That brings me joy. I have it hostage in my DS from my friend. I have not. I have it. It exists in my general plane of existence. He's staring at me. It's fine. He has my Sister's Awakening copy. I have his copy. Everything's great. But he started with that. In 2017, he was made head of his own division and focused on his titles Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler. Woo! Oh, that makes me so happy. You guys are my favorite. So, and now his team is known as Team Asano. So they have that, what's we looking for? That relation to the 2D, 3D art style
2D,
that we
2D HD.
That's what it is. Thank you. That you all know and love, the pixelated style where the backgrounds are beautiful and the characters are tiny, but it all works out. It goes together. It's like that juxtaposition. We are going to jump right into the games. There are no spoilers on this panel. If we come up with something that might feel like a spoiler, we will warn you so you can cover your ears. But text-wise, no spoilers. We like to make sure you guys can go into it with the most pure slate possible, because some of these things that the games throw at you is intense.
It's absolutely worth seeing for yourself.
It is, because I remember so many of my own reactions to the first time, like specific chapters, specific parts of the story, and every time you look back at it, you're like, whoa, if I could play any game and do it again, it would be these games.
Absolutely.
So he created Bravely Default, Bravely Second End Layer, Octopath Traveler, Various Day Life, Octopath Traveler Chains of the Continent, Bravely Default 2,
which is the third game. Good job, guys.
Yeah, the naming. Have you guys noticed something odd with the naming conventions? I have.
It's not good.
We have Triangle Strategy, Live Alive, Live Alive, Live Alive, Live Alive. There's
Pronounce it however you want, whatever feels right in your heart.
there's no battle there. Just do whatever you like. Feels
Nothing
good.
is correct.
And then most recently, Octopath Traveler 2, which came out last February, and is about to celebrate its second anniversary.
Yay!
So yeah, you notice that some of these names are
Bad. Listen, I love these guys with all my heart, and I will contend Octopath Traveler, in the end, is a good name. There's 8 dudes, they travel. For the life of me, I still do not see the correlation between Triangle Strategy and the actual game itself. It sounds like it should be on. It sounds like it should be on CoolMathGames.com.
And if at any point you guys have questions about what we're talking about, raise your hand, we'll call on you. We have approximate knowledge of many things. So we're starting with Bravely Default. On the cover, we have covers for each of our slides so you get to see what they look like, some of the characters. Those are our 4 main characters up there. It was released in 2012. This game is 12 years old.
Don't.
I see some of those reactions, you're like, no,
Oh, I'm itchy
I don't
thinking
like
about
that. They do. Look at how far he's come. Isn't that amazing? Look at you. Oh. This was on the 3DS. So thankfully, the 3DS is pretty relevant still, I'd say, besides the fact they took out the internet access. We don't talk about that. What's up? Oh, it's still there? Get your stuff. Get your stuff before it's gone. It's like a sale, but bad. So we have our 4 protagonists. We have Anya Oblai, we have Adea Lee, Ringabel, and Tiz Arier. So that's pretty much it. The one with the brown hair, that's Anya. The one with the blonde hair, Adea. Ringabel, haha, jokes. The blonde, and then Tiz Arier is one over here. Kind of like the normal looking dude.
Yeah.
We also going to go over the battle system. So in here, we have Default, Guard, and Brave. There's something to be said. And we're also going to show you guys the grid system,
UIs.
or the
UI.
The UIs, yes, thank you, about how you fight in the game. So here's our Vegas plot of that. As a vessel of the Wind Crystal finds the crystal consumed in dark energy, a young man named Tiz Arier finds his home being swallowed by the earth.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
With his companions and a fairy, he sets out on a journey to awaken the crystals. So they, it's usual RPG. You go through, you find your companions, you fight your battles, things like that.
Your dad might be God. Who knows?
Normal things. Just a day in the life.
Just silly things.
We don't, like I said, we're not going to do too much story because we want to keep it pure, like just the most basic summary. Like, I don't want to introduce too many terms to you guys that might be like confusing. Like, I'm not going to tell you, yes, this is the year, this is the place, and give you all these names and things that you can't remember later when you're looking at it. So things like that. And then we also mentioned the composers because if nothing else, Square Enix has phenomenal music. I wish I was playing some in the background, I'm not going to lie, but next time. Hopefully there's a next time.
And thankfully, I believe Square Enix is nice enough to put all the music on Spotify. I have listened to the Octopath Traveler soundtrack many times at work, and it feels really cool doing like the most mundane filing to like the boss music. It's made my job feel really important. That's it. Joke's on you, I've done that before.
Here is our UI for the battle system. So we have Brave and we have Default. Default is when you skip a turn and you defend and stock up to your BP, so it's like, kind of like your guard. And then Brave is when you use a move up to 4 times.
And Brave, you can do moves and items both in your turn, so it opens up a lot of strategizing, which I think is a main draw of Bravely Default. Especially with all the job systems you have. Job system is awesome, and your guys get little costumes.
We love costumes. I don't know if you can tell. But what it comes down to is that in this battle system, it's an RPG, which I would hope that most of you know what it means. If you don't, it means role-playing game. So So when you're there, you have to think about what moves you're going to come up with next. What do you think the enemy will do? Try to read it, get used to that strategy. It's like Fire Emblem.
Or you can do my favorite strategy is the opponent doesn't get to make a move at all.
And you hit them really, really hard.
And then you do big number. I like big number, which is why these games are good to me. I can do big number. Big number.
So the special moves are your finishing moves, and they're based on your weapons, not your skills. And the jobs are called asterisks. There are 23 jobs in all. And
the battle theme for your asterisk battles is really, really good. I'm say that a lot about all the music in general, but the asterisk battle theme of our project is just really good.
And you get to random encounters. Yay! It's a la Final Fantasy.
But you can control the random encounters, which is a blessing. You can.
And then you get to learn abilities from Oh, the job system. I misread my notes. Thank you. The job system is a la Final Fantasy. Thank you. But there is still random encounters, which again, yay. And you get to learn abilities from them, and you earn your JP to master those abilities that you are currently learning with that job.
But you can also do the encounter rate in Bravely Default. You can either have your enemy encounter rate as normal, all the way to the tippy top. I'm not sure why you would do this to yourself, or all the way to 0. Okay, well, good for you.
All right. Are there any questions about Bravely Default, the battle system? We're all good. Woo!
All right.
Means I'm doing my job right. Then we have Bravely Second End Layer. This was released in 2015 in Japan, and then you can see there's a lot of other days, February 26, 2016 in Europe, and then February 27, 2016 in Australia, and then finally April 15th for us.
Remember when game releases weren't global? I don't miss those days.
Couldn't tell you why. I guess there were just a lot of issues getting it out. Who knows? This is also on the 3DS, so again, get out that 3DS, charge it, make it work. We have 2 returning protagonists. We have Adea still, and we have Tiz, and we have new ones. We have Magnolia Arch and Yule. There we go. And again, it's Brave, Default, Guard, and Brave. Same thing. I'm not going to show a picture for that because it's just...
Same thing.
Same thing.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So this is a direct sequel to Bravely Default. It takes 2.5 years after the first game, after the defeat of the main boss for the first game. There's been a peace treaty. Yay, war is over.
No, it's not.
And it's about to be signed before an attack is launched on Anye, the new leader, and we are determined to rescue her. So Yu sets out on a journey with new and old companions alike. So it's, again, same battle system, new jobs, but now the encounters are on the map, so you can choose if you want to fight or not, which I personally like. I like seeing what I can run into. It's kind of like Pokemon in the new games. You can see the Pokemon in the distance. I like that more because I don't like being jump scared.
Yeah, I like knowing what little guys I'm going to encounter.
Some of the new ones are consecutive chances, like a new game addition to the gameplay. In my set, it allows to chain multiple battles with a greater increase in difficulty and reward. So, high risk, high reward. And if you, the drawback is that Brave points will not be restored between fights. So don't get reckless or else you might die. And then no one wins.
Except the enemy.
Yeah. The My Set function enables players to save their configurations for their jobs, equipment, and abilities, reducing the time. Do you guys like menuing?
Because God, if you like menuing, then these games are for you. Half of your playtime will be spent in the menu.
Any questions about this? It's a direct sequel. The naming convention, you just let it happen. It's okay.
I feel like the name is the thing they do last. It's like that drawing with the horse where the first half is really beautiful and then it's that silly little stick drawing. It's like everything else is that and then the silly little stick drawing is like, all right guys, we gotta name our game. What are we gonna call it?
The same thing as the original.
Oh, yes.
Oh, also, yes. That's okay.
No, okay.
Yeah. In your opinion, do you feel like the player base for Bravely Default was really present with the first game, or do you think most people learned about it after the second game?
I feel like it was present.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember hearing a lot about Bravely Default when it came out, and then it kind of fell off after the second game, actually, because people didn't love the second game. From what I remember being like, yeah, Bravely Default, oh, there's a second game. That's a weird name for it. And then after that, I think the naming convention got kind of weird, too. Kind of like Kingdom Hearts, where all the games got really weird, and it's like, that's not an order. That's not numerical. So I heard that people didn't really like what they did with Bravely Default 2 also, or Bravely Second. So it's like one of those weird things where Bravely Default was really popular despite its issues, and then it kind of got...
And then I think Bravely shot back up with Bravely Default 2, which is the third game.
We'll get there when we get there. Has anyone actually played this game? Out of interest, now I'm thinking about it.
Oh, right, awesome.
What was your opinion? Yes, no, eh? Oh, okay.
All right.
Maybe I'm wrong. That's okay, though. That's why we have opinions. They're like buttholes. Everyone has one.
I would argue that they're here, they're probably into it now.
Well,
Yes, but it's good to ask questions.
Wasn't the Japanese initial release terrible because there was a system that Japanese players didn't like?
Oh, that I didn't know.
It was on...
I think it was a line bar. You could buy some sort of potion, some sort of mechanic you could pay money for.
You guys have to play clearly.
That's crazy.
Good lord.
Wow. Huh.
All right, that's a choice they can make.
Octopath
Octopath.
Traveler. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, yay! Not to show a bias.
But
However.
we really, really like Octopath.
So we're going to go over the same thing, same conventions. We're going to go, everything's good. This was released in 2018, July 13th. I remember the day. I remember being really excited at school, seeing the first trailer, being like, oh my God, this is going to be the best game ever.
I remember going to GameStop and picking up my special edition, which I still have, on our Octopath Shrine, because we are very normal about this game, I promise.
This is on the Nintendo Switch, and it's also on Steam, so go ahead and pick that up. We have 8 protagonists, hence the name Octopath.
I know, shocking.
We have Ophelia, who is the cleric in the front. We have Cyrus, who's this quizzical-looking guy back here. Tressa, this cute little girl right here. Ulberich, big guy. We have Primrose, this cute little dancer. Alphen, I see an Alphen in the audience. Love that.
Hi, Alphen.
Therion, and then Hannet. So these are all 8 different characters. And it's, again, 8 different stories. So we have the break and the boost system. This is a different one from Bravely Default, but it takes from it.
It takes inspiration from it, but instead of you being able to do move an item in one turn, you just do either like your basic attack 4 times or one attack really, really strong.
So our plot is that we have 8 travelers set out on 8 different journeys across the continent of Orstera with different stories and classes. These, how do I explain this? You get to follow them. So if you want to do one story, fine. Do one story, follow your one character, don't pick up anyone else. If you want to do all 8, I would recommend that.
Yes, I would.
That's a smarter way to play because you'll
recommend that.
You'll have more characters, more things for battles. People have done one character runs. It's crazy.
And it's insane.
But they've done it. But these stories, I hesitate to say that they don't intertwine, but it's not very obvious at first. So when you're playing, you might realize things, but that's one of the big issues people had was that these stories don't intertwine the way that people wanted them to, which we'll come back to that later.
Yeah. And I was like, each of our 8 protagonists have their own unique story and way of gameplay, and they have these fun things called path actions.
And then our composer is Yasunori Nishiki, the best. Yes, cheer.
The best. Thank you, Yasunori Nishiki, for my life.
Has anyone played Octopath Traveler? Yes.
All
yes.
right.
Joy.
I promise I'll beat it when
It's okay. Get there when you get there.
Here is our break and boost system. This is our battle grid. You can see it's pretty easy to read. You have your battle points up here, your BP that builds every turn. You have your 4 characters. There's 8 characters. You only get to use 4 in battle at a time, so pick and choose if you're going to grind all of them or if you're going to do 4 and leave the other ones in the dust.
Don't do that.
You have your enemies over here. You can see their weaknesses down here at the bottom, so that's a big part of the battle when you have to look at those weaknesses and, again, try to figure out what will work best in your strategy.
Yeah, and each opponent has a shield count. And you get that shield cut down by breaking it with their weakness. So if you don't have their weakness, you're not going to have a very good time. I've had to eat a lot of L's in boss fights because I was like, I'm prepared. No, she was not prepared.
There is also a job system in this game, just the same as the other ones. There are 8 main jobs and 4 bonus jobs.
And they're really awesome.
And each character can have 2 jobs at the same time. So they can have their base job and another job. So over here we have Ophelia. She's a cleric. I don't know if you could tell, but you could make her a cleric and a warrior.
If you want, there are people who do physical builds on our dainty little magic characters, and they actually really work. I think it works more in the second game because you can play a little bit more. We were actually watching the Octopath 2 speedrun GDQ earlier, and someone was like, yeah, like a physical Temenos build is really fun. I was like, with what muscle? What do you mean, physical Temenos? What?
But if you give Ophelia the warrior job, you cannot give another character the warrior job. So you only get to do 2, but there's no sharing. So you got to think about who goes best with what. Do you want to give someone a speed build? Do you want to give someone physical? Do you want to bulk up their magic? Like Cyrus is a scholar, so if you do scholar and cleric, yeah, he's going to be kind of busted.
But this also gives you a lot of wiggle room to experiment. In one of our most recent runs, we started doing Thief Alphen, and he started outspeeding Therion, who is your original thief. So Alphen was dodging everything left and right, and Therion kept getting hit. And I was like, "Wow, Therion, you're doing a bad job. This nice little doctor man from his backwater town is doing your job better than you."
So you get to earn JP with each battle, so you can unlock more skills, things like that. It's a pretty easy to learn system once you get it down, and the game gives you plenty of tutorials to tell you how to do it. So you're not totally in the dark, doesn't just throw you in the battle like, ha ha, have fun. And also, besides the own story, the character stories, there's a lot of NPCs that you get to follow their stories and use their path actions and see how they are relevant to the bigger story at hand.
Yeah, the writing in the game is so good.
When you boost, you get up to 4 times of attack, so you get to smack them 4 times with whatever weapon you have. You break the opponent, and the opponent is unable to do anything to you for a turn.
And that's when you do the big damage.
That's when you do big damage. So that's anything about Octopath. Any questions? Are we all good? Yay.
Oh, yes?
Oh, yes. That's okay. That's okay.
We
That's why
love
we're
it.
here.
We love it. Keep interacting.
I love that. Question for you guys, actually. You guys are both big Octopath Traveler fans.
Yes.
Yes.
So, you guys seem a little younger. Have you guys played Final Fantasy VI? If you have, do you play before or after Octopath? What do you think about that?
Oh.
After. Yeah. I think so. I don't know. Time is fake. I can't remember, but. Can you repeat the
He wants
question?
you to repeat the question.
Yeah, for the mic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he wants you to repeat the question.
Oh, sorry. She asked if I played Final Fantasy VI. I did, and if I played it first, and if it influenced my opinion on. Okay, I know I played Octopath first, and I played Final Fantasy VI afterwards. I don't remember how many years after, but I remember my friend was like, "You like Final Fantasy VI? It's really sad." I was like, "All right, good selling point." He was correct. It was sad. I liked it. I feel like they're both such on different planes for me and what I really like about them. Both of them have the base level of amazing characters and story and music. But what I really, really like about them are, I guess, there's 2 different ways. And I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Obviously, I do love Octopath more, but Final Fantasy VI is is the best Final Fantasy. I will say that with my entire chest.
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. So we are moving on to Various Day Life. It is a game with a beginning and an end.
And a middle part.
So we'll get more into that as we talk.
Yeah.
This came out on a lot of days. This was September 19, 2019, September 13, 2022, September 16th, and January 23rd. And we will explain why that is. Because it is on Apple Arcade, it's on Nintendo Switch, it's on PlayStation 4, it's on Android, it's on Microsoft systems, iOS, tvOS, Mac operating systems, and Steam. They sure did have faith in this game.
I think they're the only ones who had faith in this game. I'm going to be real with you.
I'm glad someone did. So you get to create your own character, your own protagonist, and they have a few who travel with you: Adelaide, Bruno, Gilda, Ethel, and Melhard. You can see a few of them hanging out in the background here. They're main-ish characters. Again, they're your party who you travel and fight with. This is the battle system of Change, Chain, and Chance. In the year 211 of the Imperial Era, a new continent was discovered. Explore its every last corner as a settler of Antoesia while living your life to the fullest in the city of Arabia. And then the composer right here. The music in this game, again, phenomenal. It is a game.
Yeah.
And I will tell you why. So we have Change, Chain, and Chance, where you can change the enemy status, chain your attacks, and then do a big attack. That's your chance. This game, it came out first on Apple Arcade mobile. So this was a mobile game before it was a Switch game.
I would like you to keep that fact in mind.
So because of that, it is, I don't want to call it, it's grind heavy, but it's also a game where you are supposed to be able to step away and let your characters do what they're supposed to do and then come back. Like you leave your phone, you go cook dinner, you come back, you're like, oh, cool, we finished the mission. There's not a lot of information on this game on the internet. We scoured so much until one of her friends linked us a video essay on this game. Because people do not get past like the first 2 hours of this game. Yes. Yeah. You did?
Oh my god. Thank you. Amazing.
You are the one. You are the one.
The white whale.
The story doesn't pick up until about about 10 hours in? 10 hours in. So you're right, you're just kind of grinding, you're going back and forth, doing jobs, you're doing daily life, hence the name.
Various day life.
There is a story eventually. Where it's actually kind of a cool story. I'm not going to spoil it. So, I mean, if you want to go through that, you can go through that and find out what the story is. But there's also a romance aspect. You can choose your favorite character and romance them.
And like, it's a very generous term to call it a romance. It's really not explicitly romance. It's kind of like, you guys were BFFs for the rest of your life.
You have to overcome dungeons, you have to battle monsters, you have to go through bad weather, you have to look at your food to make sure it doesn't spoil while you're traveling. It's a lot of micromanagement. There's up to 20 job classes and more than 100 types of work. It is the black sheep, I would call it.
Yeah.
I feel really bad saying it because I think they did have a lot of faith in this game. But with how long it takes to pick up, people just generally
drop it real fast.
Put it down, drop it, never pick it back up again. People buy it because it makes Octopath Traveler 2 cheaper on Steam. That is a review that is on Steam, that it makes it cheaper to buy Octopath Traveler 2. Like, yeah, I'll pick it up because I can play this other game for a little bit less money. Do with that what you will. It's not... you can tell it's supposed to be a phone game, but even then, it's just not what you would want it to be, which is a shame. But has anyone else played it or tried to play it besides the one? No.
Oh my god! You know what?
Power to you.
Power to you. That is amazing.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, the like planning for the trip is kind of fun.
Okay.
It's like working trail, right? You're like setting your food and your tents and all that.
So you didn't get dysentery?
Sorry?
You didn't get dysentery. No dysentery. All right, good.
Woo! It's the little things. If you can find it for cheap, you could try it out. Again, it makes Octopath Traveler 2 cheaper, so you get 2 games for the price of 1, basically, and you get Octopath Traveler 2 out of it, so yay.
Good deal.
And then we have another Octopath Traveler game. Before anything else, this is a gacha. I'm going to put that out there. This is a gacha game.
Yeah, we are telling you up front.
Because if you have issues with like the gambling aspect of it has a full story, but it is a gacha game. So you got to keep that in mind.
But I will also say this is definitely a game you can coast to without spending a single dime. Like, even if you have to say, you have to get lucky with your pulls and RNG, you can still really coast through this game without ever spending a cent.
So this was released in Japan first, October 20th, 2022, and we got it in 2020, and then we got in 2022, and that was like a big deal because people swore this would never come to global, and then it did, and I was like, yes, it's my time. I'm going to go get all my favorite characters in this gacha because unfortunately, I still like it.
Very fond memories of sitting, that was back when I still was at my retail job, sitting in the break room, trying to be normal for 10 minutes because we were finally getting this gacha game.
This is a mobile game, so phone, great. iPad, great. Keep in mind, it's literally a full game on your phone. It's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's insane.
Your protagonist is your chosen one. That's supposed to be the first pull that you do in the game. So whatever character you get first when you do your little gacha pull, that's supposed to be your main character. You can switch them out as you choose. There's a
main 8 for this game, as there are for the other 2. 1 for each class. So you have another hunter and another apothecary. And when you start your game, you find them, like passed out in the middle of the snow. Cool. Saying, I get it. Sometimes you have to lay down in the snow.
Thanks, Oswald. There's over, I think 100 characters in this game by now. Yeah. So it's been going on for a while. So keep that in mind, that you will have a chance to learn all these character stories in time. It's the same system, break and boost.
But this time you get 8 guys on the
You do.
8 guys on the battlefield.
You do. You get 8 guys instead of 4 guys. So there's a whole new strategy to it. And as Orstera's chosen one, you travel through the land to defeat ruthless tyrants who wish to release darkness upon the land.
And also this is supposed to canonically take place 3 years before the main events excuse me, of Octopath Traveler. Though I have to say, with how much time passes, the game's like, oh, X amount of years have passed. So I'm like, okay. I try not to make sense of the timeline stuff. The less I think about it, the better.
This isn't the exact same producers as Octopath 1 and 2. So that's also things you want to take with a grain of salt when you're playing it. And this has an ongoing story. So
Yes.
right now we're still in the middle of another story that's complete in Japan but not in global because we're still playing catch up. And then, but it's still Yasunori Yoshiki. So
Woo!
yay! Has anyone played it? Oh,
all
okay.
right.
I've also
Awesome.
played it. So, like I said, it's a gacha. Keep that in mind if you ever feel like downloading it. It's just one of those things where if you know you have that kind of
Addictive personality.
that you just want to be careful because unfortunately the rates are garbage.
You did your polls last night.
We did.
I mean, I did my pools last night because yesterday was my birthday. So I did some birthday pools and I got some 5 stars because the gacha gods wanted to be nice to me as I turned 30.
Yes.
How new player friendly is it?
How new player friendly is it?
Very. I don't say it's very, very user friendly.
You get your new character, you get a few free pulls, and they tell you how to do it. It will take some adjusting for sure. Like it will take you time to catch up in levels, grind your characters, unlock stuff. But as you get into it, I would say you might be in the bit of a grind for a while if that's something that you need to keep in mind. But usually, from where I've started to where I am now, I kind of pick it up for a few minutes a day, do my dailies, and put it back down until I feel motivated to go to the story because it is single player.
Yeah.
So you don't get to make friends in this game, unfortunately. As cool as I think it would be, it is a single player story, your own RPG that you can play on your own time. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube about it as well. So if that's something maybe you want to check out first, I would recommend that, see if something that you're into. Anything else? Yeah. Oh, is that it? Or yeah. All right. Now we have Bravely Default 2, the 3rd game in the series.
Good job, guys.
It's a choice. This came out February 26, 2021. I do remember people rejoicing about this game, that they're really excited to have a new Bravely Default game. This is on Nintendo Switch. It's on Steam. We have 4 new pro tags. So we have left the old ones behind and brought in the new... Oh. I'm sorry, I just remember something I wanted to mention about Octopath Traveler, Champs of the Continent. That has crossovers with other games. So in that game, you will see characters from Bravely Default, you will see characters from Live Alive, you will see characters from Nier, and you'll see characters from Octopath Traveler 2, but that's only in Japan right now. That's all. So if you haven't...
Various daily life.
No, there are no characters in Various Day Life. But that's something I wanted to mention because sometimes people are really into that crossover aspect of it. It is really cool the way they do it.
No, the crossover art is phenomenal. There's also a Triangle Strategy collab.
Yes.
They didn't give them new art, which is kind of sad.
But it is what it is. But each character does get art. Same system, Brave and Default. We love it. And again, this is new characters, new game, so new plot. So, 3 years prior to the Kingdom of Musa fell against the Holograd Empire with 3 of the crystals stolen during the chaos. And as a surviving member of the royal family, Gloria, the girl who is on the cover, seeks to regain the Mystal Crystal to prevent a calamity from befalling the land of Excellent.
Yeah.
It's a very normal names, all things considered. Oh, there it is.
The land of excellence?
Well, excellent.
Excellentia?
Excellent. Ugh. But it's the 3rd game in this series, totally different. And once again, the random encounters are on the map, so you can choose to do that. Any questions? Who's played this one? Oh,
All right,
fans.
awesome.
I've heard this one's really, really good.
Yeah, it's on my very extensive to play to backlog. That grows longer every day.
But yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
we do have, I believe, all these characters now in the Champs of the Continent. So
Do we have Gloria? I thought we only had Elvis and Adele.
no, you're right. We don't have Glory. We got characters from Bravely Second. Oh, and then we have the composer, Sound Horizon. So it's the same people who did the other one. Triangle Strategy. Who's played Triangle Strategy?
All right.
Okay, now who's done all the routes of Triangle Strategy? Oh, there's multiple
There's 4.
routes. There are 4 routes of Triangle. What about the DLC? Wow,
Yes.
I'm impressed. I played one route and then I got tired.
I did one route and it made me really sad, and then I'm in the middle of the golden route, which I'll go back to when I have the brain power for this game. It's a fantastic game.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So it's heavy, as it were.
It's very heavy, and you have to use your brain.
This is probably one of the most brain-heavy games that they have.
Yeah, the battle. I feel like a lot of it goes into the battle system, which is really, really good.
This came out March 4th in 2022. It's on Nintendo Switch and Steam. A lot of them are on this system now. We have 3 protagonists. We have Sarah, Noah, Roland, and Frederica. Sarah Noah is the guy on the front. You could consider a 4th one a pseudo-protagonist. He's there, he makes important choices, and he has a lot of effects on the game, but they don't consider him one. So Benedict, if you're out there, that's for you. This is a grid system. It's tactical points. It's quietus.
Quietus points.
It's weird. Weird word. So this is 30 years after the Salt Iron War. A conflict.
Can you guess what the war was about?
A conflict between the countries of Glenbrook, Esfrost, and Hyzant breaks out, fighting for the resources of salt and iron.
Again, Square Enix's proclivity to name things shines real good in this game.
Square Enix is bizarre because they named Octopath Traveler. First it was called Project Octopath Traveler, and then they just brought over the name Octopath Traveler, and they did the same thing with Triangle Strategy, where they did Project Triangle Strategy, and then they named it Triangle Strategy, and we all knew it was going to happen, but we didn't want to see it happen, but it happened.
Again, I can forgive them for Octopath Traveler, because there are 8 dudes, and they sure travel. Triangle Strategy doesn't tell me a lick about what this game is about. They could have called it Scales of Conviction, and I'd be like, oh, it's a game where your choices matter.
It's a story-rich game about the after effects of a war, and your choices as Sarah Noah will influence the course of history, story, and the companions you have along the way. So there are 3 different parts of it that you have to think about. There's morality, there's... what are the other 2?
Liberty,
and then one more that I cannot remember.
Utility. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all very weird choices. But you get to influence. You see your scales go up and down and choose, like, when you pick out ones. Like, one character's really going to hate that, but one character's really going to love it. So you're like, okay, by the end, you kind of see which route you end up on. The first playthrough, you will not know where you go.
Yeah, you will not know a thing.
You don't know how your choices affect others. You don't know what you're going to get, versus on the New Game Plus routes where you can see, like, oh, Frederica will like this option, but Benedict's going to hate it. And Roland's like, But Sarah Noah is your main protag, and he's a really good protag. I like him.
I love Sarah Noah. Yeah, the aspect of influencing your allies to make your decisions is really cool, because they'll have their big discussion, and then you have to go around and either like hear their perspective and try and change them, and then you can see their icons say like, oh, your words have really swayed them, or wow, they thought that, or wow, they thought that sucked.
They did nothing.
And they don't change their mind at all. I remember playing the demo. I like sitting there for a good half hour, just being like, you don't know what decision to make.
It makes you think. It really makes you think. And it's something I really like about it, but something that also makes it equally exhausting in a good way. Again, it's like Game of Thrones in a way where you're like, this is really influenced. This is for the good of the people, but this is for the good of me. This is for the good of my family, etc., etc.
I've yet to play the game, but I wonder, is there a route in this game where you can have everyone hate you?
Is there a route in this game where you can have everyone hate you? I don't think so. But he will make it happen.
I mean, there is one route of the game where you can make Frederica hate you, and to me that would be everybody hating me, because sorry, Sarah, no, that's also my wife.
Yeah, they're basically, there's 4 routes. There is a golden route, but that's going to be really hard to get on your first playthrough. If you do it, I am so proud of you.
Yeah,
Good job. You made all the right choices.
Yeah, I think one of our friends accidentally got it. I was like, how do you accidentally get the perfect ending on your first try? But whatever.
So here is our grid system. It's Closer, I would say it's closer to Fire Emblem more than that because you get to move your guys around and then you get to attack and it's obviously it's all turn-based, but there's no enemy phase and there's no player phase. You go and then the enemy goes and they start ganging up on you and then, oh no, you've died.
But luckily, there's no permadeath in this game because this game is hard. In a good way. It definitely has some of the best challenges I felt like I've gone through in an RPG. The battle system's great. You can get advantages based on terrain. If the enemy is here and you have like a guy here and you have a guy here, you both can like do like a pincer attack on them for extra damage.
If you attack from the back, that's better because you're stabbing someone in the back. But you use those technical points that accumulate over your turns that can be used for special moves that do extra damage. So like if you have fire match, you can build up to a really, really big fire attack instead of like one of those little baby ones.
You can drop the sun on someone, it's great.
And then you can also do quietus, which can be used once per battle, but that's extremely advantageous. It helps a lot. And again, no permadeath, which the game doesn't tell you that, I don't think, because I remember I was trying really hard not to kill my characters, and then one died, and they were like, no, they're fine. Afterwards, I was like, I'm not used to that.
Tis but a flesh wound.
So we have that right here, and obviously you have your character down here. You select your target. They all have unique classes. There are no repeated classes. There's class changes. They all go on their own certain route. So you can't have 2 spies. You can't have 2 fire mages. Things like that.
And when you promote them, there are like certain like skills you can choose to upgrade over the other one. So again, it's really, really strategy forward. Maybe the strategy is in the shape of a triangle, if that makes sense.
Maybe the strategy is the friends we made along the way.
Maybe so.
Any questions? Or are we all good? Yes.
The newer Fire Emblem games have that new mechanic where you can turn back, undo some turns. Does Triangle Strategy have a mechanic like that?
Oh my god.
Does Triangle Strategy have a turn back time mechanic? I believe it does.
I think it does. I want to say I remember making some oopsie whoopsies and being like, I'm going to change
Let's try
that
that again.
back.
So
Yeah.
there are some things that you can do as a new player, and something else that's really nice about it is that if you do get a full party wipeout, like all your guys die, you can keep your levels and try the level again. Like you can choose to be like, no, I'm not going to try from where I was before, but if you want to try with the levels that you've gained, you can do it again. It's really nice, and I was very pleasantly surprised the first time I did that, because again, it is a difficult game, especially if you don't think.
And there is an easy mode if you just want to experience the story.
We love an easy mode.
I love easy mode.
We love accessibility.
Sometimes I need my hand to be held.
Yay, live
Live
alive.
alive.
Who's played this one? All right, now who's played the original? A little bit. Okay, we take those.
Just a cave story on SNES.
So we have live alive, live a live, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's all the same. It's the same word. That's like the joke, because you have live alive, live a evil. Ooh, mysterious. So this originally, the first game before the remake came out in 1994.
Classic.
This game is a cult classic. Everyone was like, oh my God, we're getting a remake. That's insane. We never thought it would actually happen. And then it did. And it came out July 22nd, 2022, and that's the remake, obviously. It's on Nintendo Switch, Steam, and PlayStation 4 and 5, for those lucky ones who managed to get a PlayStation 5. We have... how many did we put on here? We have 8 protagonists. Okay, I had to count that real fast. We have Pogo, who's this little guy down here. We have Shifu, who's our old master. We have Sundown Kid, the cowboy. We have Oboromaru. I skipped him. He's our cool ninja guy. We have Masaru, who is our fighting game representation.
He's like, if you combine every fighting game into one person, he is Mr. Fighting Game. And Mega Man.
We have Akira, who's our cool psychic dude. We have Cube, who is notably not a cube. And then we have Orsted over here. So
I was going to say, Cube is also canonically non-binary.
this is true. They do refer to Cube with they, them pronouns. So we love that. We love the representation of a little robot. We have the grid system back again, and we have the action meter. This is very, very faithful to the original game. They did not change much. And we get to travel through different time periods with a different protagonist discovering a darker force lurking underneath. So when you look at them, you can tell that they all look different from each other. I don't know why we have a cowboy and a medieval swordsman next to each other, but
I mean, you can also say that it's just a group of gay friends because no gay people dress like they're going to the same place.
And then we have Yoko Shimomura.
My beloved Yoko Shimomura, I owe her my life. If like that alone should convince you to buy the game just to hear her music, because obviously every world has its own music to represent the time area it's in. I think so much of my playthrough just me being like, oh my god, the music is so important.
So we start from the prehistoric times with Pogo over here, this little guy. We go to ancient China, we go to Edo, Japan, we go to the Wild West, we go to the current time, which 1994 was the current time of fighting games, King of Fighters, Street Fighter, all that good stuff. So technically, yes, that was present day. We have
The distant future?
no, that's not distant future. This is
Near future.
Yes, near future. So we're not there yet. So I don't know how near this near future is.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we're going to get our psychic powers.
We have distant future, and then we have medieval times. Here is our yeah, it is cute. Here's our what's we're looking for? Our battle system.
Yeah.
I figured it out. This one I wanted to pull up because this game has a lot of charm. As you can tell, we have Mother Shame. That is a attack you can do to your enemies. You can shame them by pretending to be their mother, and you can also do some self-care. Oh, we love that.
Yeah, this game is very, very funny. You can tell a lot of like just thought and love went into this script. For like it really is like a bite-sized game. For our first playthrough, we got through in about 20 hours, but you get so much personality from every character in every world in such a short amount of time. It's truly something special.
So it's grid-based. You get to move around on the meter. You get to go and aim. Like you go diagonal, you go straight, you go from spaces ahead, you do this, and that. And they get to also do the same thing. So they might move and not attack because they're planning on a big attack towards you.
And there's a lot of area of effect to consider in this game, whether it's your attack or the opponent's attack, to just decide your move turn. Like you can step back a bunch, heal, sit there, turtle for a bit, and come right back in.
And each character has different abilities and unique classes. Sundown Kid has a gun. He's a cowboy, so he has a gun. Akira, our guy on the screen, he has psychic power, so usually he'll use that against them. Pogo is a prehistoric little caveman, so he hits people with a stick. That is the name of the thing. It's stick and then rock stick.
Yeah, Pogo's part has a weapon crafting system, which we didn't find until halfway through story. Oops. Yes, oh my god.
Yes, that does have some really good dialogue.
The flavor text for this game is possibly some of the funniest and most creative writing I've ever seen in a menu, because they shape it to the protagonist's personality and world. Like for Sundown Kid, his descriptions are very like succinct and to the point because he's a man of few words. And then it'll be like, you know, you do Akira's things and they have a bit of mouth to them because he's a 16-year-old boy.
And he likes to be a
troublemaker.
A
rabble-rouser.
delinquent. And also, each time period has its very own way to play. So no two experiences will be the same. There could be one where you could go through and be like, okay, I'm going to kill each enemy in this thing because it gets me something. Or I'm going to do no kills. I'm going to get through with my stealth and my skill. So it's like mercy and no mercy. Yay, genocide route. So that's your choice.
Yeah, for the story she's mentioning, I did the pacifist route, and I just sat there in that godforsaken castle for like over an hour being like, no, I want to make sure we're a good boy. We're not going to hurt anyone. It was worth it. But you can literally kill anything from 0 to 100 enemies in that room.
I really do recommend this game so
strongly.
It is probably one of my favorite games. It is so special, and it's 20 hours. If you have 20 hours to kill, go for it. It's
this game
very worth it.
It's worth every dollar. I cannot emphasize that enough. This is one of the games where if I could go back and play it again for the first time, it would be this game, especially when you get to a certain point near the ending.
Ooh, mysterious. All right. Any questions about Live Alive? Yes.
I always like asking this to people who have played the game. What's your favorite chapter of the game?
I can't say my actual favorite for spoiler reasons. unfortunately. But I really liked the way that they did Ancient China with the Shifu. I really liked that one because that I was like, whoa, okay, that ripped my heart out when I was expecting it. Sundown, because I really like Mad Dog and Sundown's whole dynamic. Yeah, but then I can't say my favorite.
I mean, you could probably garner our favorite from the way we're talking around it. I think my favorite. It's weird to say Masaru is one of my favorites from someone who doesn't play fighting games. I am not a fighting game person. If you gave me a fighter stick, I'd be like, why are you doing this to me? I don't know what this is. But the way they did is such a love language to, the blow up of fighting games of that time, where it was so unique. It was great.
All right. So thank you. That's a great question. I want to go back and replay this game. I haven't had a minute, but
such a good
maybe
game.
when we get home. All right. And our most recent release.
Kevinos and Particio and Oswald in the house.
So I guess we have some fans of Octopath Traveler 2 here. Yay! This is the most recent release from Team Asano. It's really good.
It's really good.
I'm gonna go from there. We're coming up on its first anniversary in February. It came out last year, February 24th. It is on the Nintendo Switch, Steam, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox. So we're finally getting some things to Xbox. Actually, I think I have to update that.
Fun fact, when we got the trailer for this, I was very bad and watched it in the stockroom of my retail job, and I almost started crying when I heard the music because I knew we were getting a new Octopath game.
I did start crying. I was at school. I was watching it on my prep period, and I did start crying.
See, I had to pretend to be normal because I couldn't. If my boss came into the stockroom and she's like, "Why are you crying? Are you okay?" I'd be like, Octopath,
my game. So again, we have the 8 protagonists. It's still in the same vein of Octo. So we have Oswald V. Vanstein, Cassie Florence, Temenos Mistral, Ochette, Particio Yellowwill, Agnia Burstarni, Throne Angui, and Hikari Ku. So it's nice to see some representation in the audience. That does cheese me greatly. Something actually that I want to note about Octopath that I really enjoy is that some characters don't have last names, not because they're lazy, but because of the way that their character is, or because of where they're from. Hanet and Ochette, they're both hunters. They don't have last names, and you could account that to how they live, where they're from.
Their culture.
Therion doesn't have a last name. He's a thief. You could say it was lost to time or some such.
He's just a little guy.
So it's also, again, the break and boost system. So it's really easy to come from Octopath 1 to Octopath 2. And again, this is on a different continent. So now we're in Solistia instead of Orstera with different stories, different classes. The same 8 classes, but then the 4 bonus change.
And they did a lot of improvement to the battle system in this game, which I love. You can get job licenses for all 8 main jobs. You go around the continent and find them. So now, if you want to have a team of 4 dancers, you can have a team of 4 dancers, and you can get to some really wild shenanigans with this composition. And then each character gets EX skills, which are skills unique to them only. Temenos' final one is really broken eye. I have turned a lot of bosses by stacking buffs on him, having him do his funny little skill, watching the boss dissolve, and then Temenos is like, I'm like, yes, boy, you just did that. Good job. You just did the big number. But you do it really well, honey.
Fighting's not what you do. I think that's a lie. Have you ever done Bewildering Grace 4 times in a row?
Do you want to? No, wait. Do you want to have 4 dancers doing the Bewildering Grace at max BP 4 times? Do you want to see what happens? Yes.
So, this is kind of a similar question what was asked for Bravely, but for Octopath 2 in particular, do you recommend starting with 2 before 1? Because I sent a couple of my friends.
You can absolutely start with 2.
2 is totally separate from 1, totally different, and it made a lot of quality of life changes that 1 did not have. So people looked at 1, we were like, okay, we wish this was faster, we wish things were more connected, we wish that it was easier to navigate, things like that, and they listened to that criticism, and 2 is so much smoother, so much snappier, so much easier to handle.
Yeah.
But If you go start with 2, great. You're probably not going to have as fun a time going back to 1. I love the first game so much, but I look at the second game, I'm like, yeah, that's a better game.
And 2 also introduced a day and night system, which will alter your path actions. So in the daytime, your scholar, he'll scrutinize, but at nighttime, he can and will mug you.
It's the most bizarre thing in the world. You look at this scholar who has been spent however many years locked up
In jail.
and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you up for whatever items you have at night, and no one will believe that I did it. So it's I struggle to say that I would recommend it second, because I think I would recommend it first, and then it's just, unfortunately, it'll be difficult to go back to the first game. But I think that it's
so worth playing.
It's a very good starting point for the series.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, if we ever do Octopath Traveler 3, hopefully, then hopefully, it'll just get better and better, because they did a really good job of listening to those criticisms that a lot of people had from the first game, which you notice it immediately.
Yeah. One of the main criticisms I even shared for the first game was that there needed to be more party interaction, because I didn't know how to get party banter. So at the end of each chapter, for each character, you'd go to the in or somewhere in the menu, and you're going to see every party banter you missed, which is so good, because it makes the travelers feel more like this cohesive little found family who also have like the most amount of trauma you will ever see in one person, but that's besides the point.
It's beautiful. It's fun. And just, it's such a great game.
It's so special to
really
me.
Can't recommend this specific game enough to people. It's a long game. Don't get me wrong, it's an RPG. It's Square Enix. They love to do what they do best, which is make long games and make you grind and suffer, whatever. But it is very, very worth it for the characters alone,
Yeah.
the stories alone, and just everything that comes together. Again, the music is a really nice bonus.
And we actually have not mentioned the voice acting. The voice acting
Yes.
has only gotten better and better. I still think Live Alive had some of the most fun voice acting I've ever heard in a game. And then between 1 and 2, the voice acting is so good.
2 was fully voice acted.
Fully voice acted. But I will have to say, I do have fond memories of just hearing Patrick Sykes' booming voice as Olberg in the first game. The thrill of the fight.
Did you have a question? Or you just, yes.
While we're gushing about the music, what is the best character theme in Octopath 2 and why is it Partitio?
What is the best one? Why is it Partitio? Oh,
it is Partitio. Yeah,
But I
you
like-
got that saxophone. He and Alfred are the saxophone buddies.
that's a nice little bonus. I didn't want to talk about the music too much. I knew it would take a lot of time because I could talk about it forever. But each character has their own theme song. And it fits each of them, and it's beautiful.
And even better, it transitions into the boss music.
Yes. So
Which
I would
drives me
tell you,
bonkers yonkers.
just listen to the music, honestly. All right, that is the end. Thank you for attending. Thank you. If you are so inclined to find us on Twitter, these are our ats at the front. I talk a lot about Octopath, obviously, and Fire Emblem and whatever. And then if you are interested in artwork, I have an art account. So if you like seeing weird artwork of Octopath characters, about weird characters that no one cares about, that's where I am at.
And then I'm that Nebbles. I just kind of tweet whatever little thoughts come to my mind. So if you follow me, that's your choice. But I do art sometimes, but my trade is with the pen. So if you want to follow my AO3 to look at my 23 plus upgoing Octopath fics, that'd be amazing. Because what I like to do, I like to write about everybody. I've written about almost every character in the first game, I think, which is actually a very impressive feat. I like writing about character relationships and studies. I will pick at side characters that nobody cares about but me, and then I will make them important. I am the internet's #1 kit crossword stand. That is my title. I am the CEO of them. That is my child. I am kicking Graham off a mountain and taking his child, because God knows Graham. Yeah.
But yeah, and also fun fact of the day, this artwork references Bravely Default. Just a little fun fact. But that's everything. So thank you guys so much for coming out. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your MAGFest. Find us. If anyone's doing Fire Emblem tomorrow night, come to the Fire Emblem photo shoot. I'm doing that. But thank you.
Thank you
you
so
all
much.
so much. Mwah.